Two overtime games are both better than a 17-9 score. NBC. There you go. Anyways, I digress. Um, but hello everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Twin Love, here for Sports Overview Topics. Back in again. Colorado now up to 3-0. Deion Sanders and Shadoo Hunter's sons, both his sons, Shadur and Saul, have both been solid, but overall, Colorado so far in their 3-game stretch, now, it was dicey. They won in second overtime versus the Colorado State Rams, but very good job. They obviously took a dip in the rankings, which we'll go over. A little bit of movement, but not too much. But either way, it's going to be a great college football weekend as we look forward to 6 first-ranked matchups across the board in college football. We'll dig deeper into those in a bit. I did post a short about my predictions, but we'll do another dive into those as well. I went another week, different week, same record, 11-5. Last week I went 11-5. This week, case again. Now, it looked to be different for a while. Titans were a trip. They went into overtime. The Giants, who I picked, excuse me, they were getting shut out the half, but made that great comeback nonetheless against Cardinals. Cardinals have been putting up really good fight the last 2 weeks, and that's what you like to see. Yes, can't say they should be 2-0 right now, but nonetheless, very good fight out of this team and the start for Jonathan Gannon. Lions lost in overtime after coming back down 10. Commanders, that was a fun comeback. They were down 18, 21-3, but they came all the way back. Although it was a bit of a hiccup as the Broncos scored with a Hail Mary. No time left on the clock, but could not complete the 2-pointer, send it to overtime. Yeah, some close calls. Browns, Steelers, go over that as well. As well as my picks for week 3. So we'll get to on that, as well as my thoughts on Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko, the rematch, which was a bit of controversial decision. A split draw, which we usually don't see. Nonetheless, we'll go for all. Thank you all for joining me. If you need, excuse me, I gotta get a drink really quick. My throat's weird. By the way, I should. Okay. clear out my throat. But nonetheless, yeah, some good stuff over this weekend. Before we get into it, you guys get the gist. Like, subscribe for all videos and shorts. Now, I've started to post a few shorts within the last week. Yeah, may post a couple during the week, a couple more. We'll see, but yeah, venturing down that road. Different things for the podcast. May go live. Eventually, just gotta figure out the whole timing thing of the live streaming dynamic, but nonetheless, it's different for the podcast, and yeah, different things. First off, so let's go over what was a not as exciting going into it college football weekend, but we did have some unique dynamics as far as the games are concerned this weekend. Most notably, culminating with Colorado State going to 2 overtimes this past weekend. Fun stuff there. Yeah, it looked like for a while that Colorado State had the big advantage, but when Travis Hunter went out, I think some were under the impression of, oh no, this might be, and we'll see, because Deion Sanders did say he'd be out for a couple weeks, but the resolve of Shedeur Sanders, Johnny Wilson, Xavier Weaver, and company, they, despite the injury to Hunter, hope for the best for him, they found a way to come back, as well as Michael Harrison. Or he had some big catches on drive it throughout the game as well, in which, congrats to him. But, nonetheless, the controversial call was Colorado State in the second overtime. Credit to their quarterback as well. He ran for a touchdown, which, obviously, who knows on 2-point try, but would have made things a lot easier, and with the illegal blindside block, in which it was called back, and Colorado State could not capitalize, and there was a lot of penalties on Colorado State, so big ins there, we can say. Florida State, it was not furthest from easy, you could say. they had a bit of a scare versus Boston College in more ways than one. So Jordan Travis, he got dinged up. Hopefully he can. Well, he did play the majority of the game. Or he did finish the game, I should say. But yeah, they pulled away. It was 31-14, and then Boston College almost came back with a lot of penalties, though, as it was 31-29 at the end of it. Because of Boston College, that would have been a huge upset. Obviously, Florida State did fall. But nonetheless, Minnesota did have some chances for UNC, but nonetheless, South Carolina, that was the big one. As they were up 14-3 on the Bulldogs at half. But the troops rallied and they got it done in the second half. Forced Spencer Rattler to make some mistakes, and they got it done when they needed it. So there we go. Win by 10. It was but the biggest upset was Florida knocking off then number 11, Tennessee, in the swamp. Florida. Credit to Trevor Etienne. Credit to Graham Mertz. You know, I can tell he gets a lot of flack. But yeah, Trevor, almost 200 yards rushing. You know, great job by him. Mertz had an efficient job. You know, only had 19 or 24 for buck 66 and a touchdown, but with ETN running like that, you know, no problem. Joe Milton has been a bit of concern, and coming into this, you know, thought was going to the season. Now we still have a ways away to go, but going into the season, people are hyping on Tennessee and him. I felt a bit of that hype as well for Melton, considering his arm strength. That they may be a notch better than they were last year with Hooker, but it seems to be a learning curve, and the offense with Milton. So yeah, Alabama won after a long delay against South Florida in South Florida, 17-3. It was an ugly one. Tyler Buckner, who substituted for the other QB, I forgot his name. Sorry, but then they had Ty Simpson, who made big play, but mainly it was Roydell Williams who got it going, and McClellan. Um, yeah, besides kind of one drive, Byron Brown, and I mean, he had more yards on the ground than passing the ball. Credit to him, 92 yards rushing, but against Bama, and to plead Bama, it's like they fell for a reason. So, a quick look at the rankings now. So, you know, first of all, I get the reason to keep Georgia at 1 over Michigan. I mean, let's face it. McCarthy has been the fact that he threw 3 picks against Bowling Green and they still managed to win by 25 shows you. And we all know South Carolina over Bowling Green. There we go. So I get it. Leaving that at 1. Texas rose up a spot to 3 after Florida State, hanging on versus Boston College. The other big move for the top 10 was Alabama. After them struggling seemingly to win on the road versus South Florida, Oregon, the Ducks, rose into the top 10 with another predominant win. Utah moved up as well as LSU. So, good stuff. But yeah, Bama fell 13. Oregon State moved up. Ole Miss moved up. UNC, Oklahoma. Colorado did swim back as well as Tennessee by 12. Florida then made their presence into the top 25 again. And Iowa moved up a spot. So, a little bit of movement. Besides Tennessee, Bama, and Oregon, not really much movement, but nonetheless, it's going to make for a hell of a college football weekend in week 4. I gave my predictions for the ring matchups this week, but I gotta talk about it because it's gonna be a fun one. We got Oklahoma versus Cincinnati. We got Florida State versus Clemson. And again, we'll see about Jordan Travis's arm. He was shown with his arm as sling post game. Colorado versus Oregon. That may be. We do have Notre Dame versus Ohio State, but damn, that's gonna be fun. Colorado versus Oregon. Number 15, Ole Miss versus Alabama. Number 13. That's dicey. That's going to be a interesting matchup. Stupid Wi-Fi. 1 second. Utah versus UCLA battling the Pac-12. We know how good those matches can be. Hopefully, Cameron Rising back this week for Utah. We'll see. Oregon State versus Washington State. Sneaky good matchup, I'd say. Iowa versus Penn State. Big Ten. Could be good. But yeah, Ohio State versus Notre Dame is really interesting for me. I mean, really, to see how good Sam Hartman is. Because, I mean, have said it numerous times on the podcast. Sam Hartman is my sleeper to win the Heisman out of Notre Dame. What he has done for their offense so far has been a clinic. I mean, no offense to Ian Book. No offense to quarterback from last year, but nonetheless, this is the most explosive I've seen, or confidence I've seen Notre Dame pretty much ever as an offense. So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's going to be some fun matchups. We'll see how they make the rounds this weekend. But, yep, nonetheless, we're in for some fun college football this weekend. So, the rematch was Saturday night. Lex Grosso for Salatina Shevchenko. The co-main event from UFC 285 with John Jones and Tyrell Game, which sadly I think it may have took people's energy out from the main event, because it felt like a surprise, really, that, I mean, Grasso, we know, is a good fighter, but I think the fact that she was going up against Shevchenko, that's what really made it a surprise. But nonetheless, the main event was Saturday, and it had its moments. Both ladies had some strikes. Grasso, though, dropped Shevchenko a good shot in the second round. Ladies tried to use their wrestling as best they could. Shevchenko had a good amount of control on the ground. And looked like at times also both ladies had their chance to finish the other. And alas, it was called a draw. Here's the thing. I believe his name was Mike Bell, one judges. So, the other two judges, called it for one or the other. call it um, call it 48-47 one way, 48-47 the other. Well, because he gave round 5 a 10-8 to Grosso, it was diagnosed as a draw, split draw, 47-47, in which previous judges called it 10-9. And by those numbers, if it was a 10-9, Shevchenko would have won and gotten her shot back. Now, I only saw the highlights, but from what I gather, there was no 10-8 round to me for Grosso, especially round 5. So, I understand people's displeasure with Mike Bell and his judging. Look, we know judging has been a flaw in MMA and boxing for many years. I just muted my microphone for a sec, but nonetheless, guys get the gist, as in, I get it. See, the weird thing is, I don't know if people would want to see a rematch or a trilogy. I mean, because of course it's weird because Shevchenko had a lengthy run, and then she got choked out by Grosso in the first fight, and then this fight, obviously closer. He could definitely say that Valentina won the fight, but of course, that was not how it went, unfortunately, due to the scorecards. So, I mean, I do understand if they are to go that route with a trilogy, but we shall see. It's up to Dana White and what the higher-ups feel is right for the next move. Erin Blanchfield, is she ready? We shall see. I don't know if many people are ready for the exciting NFL Week 2, specifically Sunday. Sunday was filled, absolutely filled with fun moments, fun games, fun comebacks, especially. Yeah. So, but first, before we get into Sunday, we have to go over Thursday. So, first of all, I made my picks for the primetime games on for the primetime games Thursday through Monday. Yes, there were 2 games on Monday, but not the same. I mean, kinda at the same time, but not at the same time, like we know with 8, you know, games at 11 o'clock on Sunday. So I went 3-1 in those picks. There you go. Obviously, the Browns, that was a weird debacle, but nonetheless, week 2 was fun. Eagles won 34-28 on Thursday. Vikings could have very well have won this, but numerous, like last week, or week 1 first, the Buccaneers, numerous turnovers. Now, week 1, you could have argued that was on Kirk. Week 2, however, I don't know. Because Brendan Powell, okay, first of all, he had the FOMO inside Eagles territory. Jordan Addison, the rookie wide receiver who, drafted in the first round, he had a crucial fumble. Well, there were 2 huge ones. But first, big one. So, it was 10-7 at the end of the first half. Eagles and Vikings had the ball. They were driving down, looking to tie or take the lead going to half. Vikings Kirk Cousins hit a big play to Justin Jefferson. And, one of the silliest but most costly rules in the NFL happened again. So, if Justin Jefferson just hung on to the ball, went out of bounds, okay, they would have been sub well. To run the clock, take it to halftime with a tie or a lead, and you get the ball back to start the second half. Instead, after a big play, Justin Jefferson, because instinct, tries to get in the end zone and ends up fumbling out of bounds. The touchback rule, fumbling out of bounds. And the other team gets it. I mean, if it was me, yeah, if it was me, I would return it to the spot of the fumble and have them retain possession. That's just me. But yeah, it's a costly rule. And Eagles capitalized, managing to get a couple runs set up for a long field goal. So instead of potentially 14 to 10, 10 to 10, going to halftime. It's 13-7 Eagles. But then you think, okay, Vikings get the ball to start the second half. Kirk Cousins fumbles and leads to a quick touchdown, and all of a sudden, it's 27, like in a blink of an eye. So there you go. Then a long touchdown to Devontae Smith. Vikings did what they could to come back, but it was too big a hole that they dug again. And yeah. Eagles 2-0. Vikings, though, I will say, people had differing opinions about this. You know, Kirk Herbstreit, I agree with. The fact that they still tried, and if they got the onside kick, who knows? But yeah. They went down to the wire. Ultimately, they lost by 6. Big credit to Desmond Ridder and Bijan Robinson and the whole Atlanta Falcons team as they won by 25-24 over Green Bay at home. Down by 12. They stuck to it. They stayed in it. And ultimately, they held on and won. Credit to their defense. You know, Jordan Love needed a 2-minute drive. You know, adversity, try to win it. They couldn't capitalize. And especially without Aaron Jones, that tough one. Bills bounced back as they blew out the Raiders. Raiders made it competitive, though, for a while as they could. It was 14-10, but Bills just piled it up, and Josh Allen definitely rebounded after a sorry Monday night last week. Ravens, they go to 2-0 as they won the jungle 27-24. They beat the Bengals. You know, curious about OBJ. You know, another injury to the Ravens. It's like, but Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews back. That definitely helped as they ultimately won it, and they go to 2. They're the only 2-0 currently in the division. Seattle and Detroit, we knew this one would be fun, and thus it was. Seattle, though, won 37-31. You know, Detroit, yeah, back and forth ultimately was the pick 6 with Goff, and then dug themselves a little bit of a hole, but Lions bounced back and they tied it, but they could not stop the Seahawks in overtime. You know, say what you want about the touchdown, but nonetheless, Seahawks win 37-31. Chargers lost in OT 27-24 over the Titans. Like we said about Josh Allen, Ryan Tannehill, you could argue had a sorry night or sorry day versus the Saints in week 1. However, they still almost won. This case, much cleaner game from Ryan Tannehill. Derrick Henry got it going. Only 9 yards to ground, but still his presence is felt. Spears got a good dosage on the ground as well. Treylon Burks made a big play. It looks like DeAndre Hopkins' presence certainly helping him. Chris Moore had play late. DeAndre Hopkins, it looks like they're starting to get a bit comfortable. It doesn't have to be he doesn't have to provide, say, 12 catch or 14 catch, 120-yard game to be effective. Just his presence, I think, helps out the young Titans receivers and everybody else. Funny enough, both teams that took it into overtime lost. The Lions had the field goal that sent it to overtime. The Chargers had the field goal that sent it to overtime. Yeah. Buccaneers won 27-17. Good for Baker. Was efficient. Mike Evans had a hell of a day. Prior to the DJ Moore trade for Bryce Young, the Bears were the number one pick for a reason before. And credit, it's only been 2 games. But if you were to ask me who I think the worst team in the league currently is, I'm going to have to go Chicago Bears. The offense does not seem in sync with what it wants to do. I don't know. It's just like Justin Fields last year, and even as a rookie, felt like the offense was better. And it feels like odd to say. Chiefs won 17-9 over Jags. The Jags had their opportunities, got a fumble, got a Mahomes interception, but they had numerous drives in the red zone and Chiefs territory, could not crowd. Now, Chris Jones being back obviously helped the defense. Kelsey looks to be okay, but I don't know. Despite losing Anthony Richardson after another 2-touchdown performance, the Colts hung on to beat the Texans in Houston. And they're being competitive. Good for the Colts and Shane Steichen. This one of the premier games of the week, and for most of it, it was as advertised. As 49ers won 30-23 over the Rams. you know, yeah, it felt like a shootout, but it felt like the Rams had the momentum for a good while. Brock Purdy was missing a few throws, but the momentum changer going into halftime. They opted not for a field goal, but to run it in for a touchdown to tie it up. And yeah, it felt was a good game all throughout. Puka Nacua. He's having a thrilling start to the season. I gotta show the guy credit and wow everyone else. Puka Nacua, great job for him. Great job. When Cooper Kupp gets back, that's only going to help. The offense is looking so far better than it did last year, obviously. And, Nacua is doing well. Tutu Atwell is doing well. Cooper Kupp, assuming he gets back, that's going to help. Giants, I already spoke about this, but 31-28. After being down, you probably felt the disrespect coming through. Chow 40-0 against Cowboys on Sunday night. Corral back, being down 20-0 at the half. And Daniel Jones fired out. Big pass play at Hyatt. Ran it in. You can tell he was already out of the half. And their defense hung tight. Great job by Daniel Jones. And you can tell he's finding the rhythm. Finding confidence. Definitely in that win. Credit to the Cardinals. Like I said, want to see them compete and show out for the coach, and past 2 weeks they have. But great stuff. Unfortunately, though, for the Giants, Saquon Barkley sprained his ankle. Now, they said it was just a regular ankle sprain. So, we'll see how long. But yeah, looks like it's going to be have to be Danny Dimes primarily versus 49ers, which I'm betting may be a physical matchup on Thursday. As well as the other New York team, it didn't go well. As Cowboys blew out the Jets, you knew it was going to be ugly one of two ways. Whether the Cowboys blowing them out or short scoring game. Cowboys, it was 10-7 after big strike to Garrett Wilson, but after that, wasn't great. I hate to say it for Zach Wilson, but there's a reason as to why the Jets got Aaron Rodgers, and why there's rumors of Jets looking to trade for Kirk Cousins, to salvage the season. And Aaron Rodgers did say that he could return to playoffs, but they have to do better. Now, Breece Hall only got 4 touches. How'd they win 7 games last year. Running the ball and playing really good defense. Now that you got Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, that shouldn't be a problem. Limit Zach Wilson's touches, assuming he's going to say QB1. There's the formula. And they can still win a good amount of games and potentially be a wild card. But that's why they got Rodgers. So let's look at the Cowboys game. Much credit to Washington and Eric Bieniemy and Sam Howell. 35-33. Washington came back to beat the Broncos. Very good throws by Sam Howell. I've been impressed with him the last couple weeks. Very good return for Chase Young. He had 1.5 sacks. Good stuff. And a couple big runs by Brian Robinson. So there you go. Sunday night. Dolphins won 24-17 over the Patriots. Patriots were hanging in there, but could not capitalize. They got a pick off of Tua, threw a pick in the red zone. Coming up inches short at the end of the game after that. Yeah. Possible conversion, yeah. Not sure what to say. Saints got another dub. 2-0 for the first time in a decade. They won 2017 over the Panthers. For a while it was 6-6, but Saints finally opened up. Few big throws by Carr. Great for him. Carolina got a touchdown late, but again, it was too little too late. And then was a great crazy game, I would say, between the Browns and Steelers Monday nights. A very defensive slugfest. I do gotta say, very unfortunate. Nick Chubb, presumably out for the season with a knee injury. And no surprise that Kareem Hunt, former backup of Chubb, visiting with the Browns today. Yeah. Amari Cooper is questionable coming in the game with a groin injury, but he looked very good. Great stuff. Deshaun Watson made a few good throws, but when the going got tough, couldn't crawl. Yes, that was pass interference. Yes, I'll say that. Two defensive touchdowns by the Steelers. Missed field goal by the Browns. Had their chances, but couldn't corral. So now, with week 2 in the rear view, let's go on to week 3. Should be a few good games to look forward to. Um, so a couple of the odds definitely changed from earlier in the week. So let's get going. We got what I presume will be a physical matchup on Thursday. Giants, 49ers, and San Francisco. San Fran 10-point favorites. Now with Saquon out, agreed. I think this will be a physical matchup. Perhaps the Giant or 49ers they hang around, but a late touchdown probably pulls them away. So I'm going to go with the 49ers to win 31-20. Move to 3-0. Colts at Ravens. Now, Anthony Richardson left that Colts game in concussion protocol. Now, with now in concussion protocol, it would be an interesting matchup if Richardson was healthy, because then you have the dynamic of the two running QBs, Lamar, Richardson. Now, Gardner Minshew is still very capable, but now, with or without Richardson, I would still feel compelled to pick the Ravens. So that's what I'll do. But yeah, Colts are still doing well. So give them credit for that. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens here. 26-16. Titans at Browns. Browns 3-point favorites. Now, just mentioned the news of Kareem Hunt visiting the Browns. Nick Chubb presumably out for the season. From Kevin Stefanski's words. Titans, though, they're underrated. Now, question will obviously be, Zadarius Smith on defense, because they're a great 1-2 punch. Garrett on one side, Zadarius Smith on another. Greg Newsome looked scary injury, I say, with his arm. Secondary, but you still have Denzel Ward, Juan Thornhill. Got some studs. I feel like this will be a sluggish, low-scoring affair. Now, the Titans defense is not as dangerous as Steelers defense. I think we can agree. However, what I saw from Deshaun Watson was, again, he made some plays, but I'm a bit concerned. So, might be weird, but I'm going with the other way. 3 points the other way. I'm going with the Titans 20-17 over the Browns. Falcons at Lions. Lions 3-point favorites. Was 4.5. Now 3. Desmond Ritter. Falcons made a great comeback. Very good for them. Now 2-0. Lions, you could argue, should won that game, but so we can tell that the Lions defense has some holes. Still, room for improvement. Now, you don't have as a dynamic receiving core as you do on the Seahawks. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, but the money is the run game. So, for the Falcons, I think this will be a fun-filled, physical game as well. In Detroit, I'm going 24-20. Lions win and cover. Saints at Packers. Packers 2-point favorites. Struggling a bit with that one. So, in my opinion, I think the jury's still a little out on Jordan Love. I mean, do you think he's capable? However, so Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, both were out. Christian Watson again. I mean, for the Packers, that was not great. And Bakhtiari. The reason why I say the jury's still out on Jordan Love, I mean, first of all, only 2 games. With the first game, it felt like the game got out of hand for the Bears. Love was efficient in that game. Secondly, in the Falcons, they still did well without Bakhtiari and Watson and Jones. But when it came to the 2-minute drill to potentially win or take the lead, rather, they fell short. So, I mean, against their car, a better, I would say, defense, good weapons. I'm going to go with the Saints here. Although it was sluggish until they pulled out. Yeah. This is the last game. Now, Jamal Williams did go down. This is the last game of Alvin Kamara's suspension. I'm going to say Saints win here. 23. $23-20. Texans at Jaguars. Jaguars 9.5-point favorites. We know the Texans have done well against the Jaguars, a lot of times as of late. It does feel like a growing process with the Texans, although the Texans did what they could to get back in it. First goals last week. Now, Jags did only score 9 points. They did have many opportunities to score. Truth be told, there's no Chris Jones on Texas defense. Will Anderson, Jalen Petrie, those guys are very good. But, Chiefs defense is a notch above, certainly, of Texans. I don't know about 9.5 points. Them covering. But I'm going to say Jags win 27-20 over the Texans. Broncos at Dolphins. Dolphins 6.5-point favorites. Question is, the Broncos lose by 3 now. They lost by 1 versus the Raiders. They lost by 2 versus the Commanders. Will they lose by 3? It's a possibility this could be the sleeper of the week. Broncos, Dolphins. I mean, Broncos offense came alive for a bit. Last week or Sunday versus the Commanders, and then they fills up. Yeah, I think this will be a fun game. Bradley Chubb is probably gonna have something to say to his former team. But 30-24, Dolphins win against. I'm going to say 30-23, just cover. Have the Dolphins barely cover. Chargers Vikings. This is basically a pick'em game. At first, the Chargers were 1 point favorites. Then they switched to the Vikings 1 point favorites, and then it's basically a pick'em. So, both teams own two. Both teams have very good wide receiver cores. Both teams have very adequate quarterback play. Both teams have room to work on offensive line. Um, yeah, it's both teams have good kickers, so um, I don't know. It's weird seeing the Vikings. They weren't gonna be 11-0 in one-score games this year. We know that they could have won first the Bucks on week 1. They could have beat the Eagles last week, but they didn't. Same with the Chargers. They could very well be 2-0 right now. If they kicked a field goal or they held tight versus the Dolphins and overtime went their way, yeah. Nonetheless, we're here with barring a tie. Someone's going to get a win. It's tough. Better quarterback, Justin Herbert. Better coach, Vikings. Now, the thing we also saw is without Austin Eckler, it felt like the offensive Chargers struggled a bit because of his dynamic nature. Vikings, we all know, are struggling without Dalvin Cook when it comes to run. So, with picking them back and forth, I'm going to just say at home, better coaches. I'm going to say Vikings pull this one out 27-24 at home. Patriots at Jets. Patriots 2.5 point favorites. I mentioned about Zach Wilson and his performance against Cowboys. And yeah, there is a formula still with the Jets to win. Thing is, though, prior to Rodgers getting injured, I predicted Jets to win this game. Now, it's basically the same team from last year, plus some rookies on the O-line. Now, the O-line is healthier. Defense, Will McDonald, like him. I'm going to go with the Patriots, to pull this out. Yeah, a weird one. I would say 19 to 14. Patriots win. Bills at Commanders. This could be sneaky good. Bills 6.5-point favorites. Bills rebounded in a big way over the Raiders. Commanders, we knew, had that great comeback, and now all of a sudden they're 2-0 at home. Chase Young's return also sparked some energy in that. Now, Jets showed, and the formula is there. Frustrate Josh Allen, and possibilities there for him to throw you a gift and a pick. So, clearly Sam Howell has impressed me so far the last 2 weeks, but not to the point of a shootout for Josh Allen. So, in order for them to win this, it's going to be the 4 guys up front. Chase Young, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat. Going to get a few takeaways, minimize the scoring, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills here, 28-21. They get it done. First, the Commanders. There you go. Panthers at Seahawks. Seahawks, 5.5-point favorites at home. Bryce Young, it's obviously a learning curve. First 2 weeks. For a while, it was just 6 points. For most of it, it was 6 points versus the Saints. Credit, they have really good defense. And then 10 points all game versus the Falcons. So, it's a learning curve. But I think on the road, front the 12s, Geno Smith rebounded definitely against the Lions than he did versus the Rams. I'm going to say they win here 24 to 16 against Panthers. Win and cover. Cowboys at Cardinals. Cowboys 12.5-point favorites. We think it's going to be easy. I'm sure the Cowboys think it'll be easy. Cardinals, though, have been showing life. Josh Dobbs has done some good things for the offense the last couple weeks. Question is, can it culminate into a win? Now, this is easily the best defense the Cardinals have faced so far this season. Cowboys defense has been very good. Dak has played clean, pretty much clean football the last 2 weeks. I'm going to say the Cardinals barely cover 28-16. Cowboys win in the desert. Bears at Chiefs. Chiefs 12.5-point favorites. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a bit concerned about both these offenses. Like I said, Bears might be the worst team in the league right now. Chiefs only scored 17 points on Sunday. 17. Manders and Eric Bieniemy scored 35. Now, credit. Travis Kelce may be getting back in his groove. You know, Bears defense I don't think is as good as Jags defense. So I mean, they'll improve, but how much? I would say 24-12. Screw it. 26-12. Chiefs win. Then we got a rematch of the Immaculate Reception from last year. Game, adverse game from last year. Steelers at Raiders. Raiders 1.5-point favorites at home. Now, despite the win, two defensive touchdowns for the Steelers. So, in totality, take away 14, you only had 12. Now, Raiders defense is not as good as the Browns. We know. However, I think we've seen with Jimmy G, it's good dynamic because he's running the play that's called. You know, he's getting out of his or getting the ball of his hands quicker. He's doing well. So yeah, I think this will be a sluggish game as it was Monday night. Teacher what his brother said. Pretty much the best in the league. Let's say they win this somehow, though. 23-20 on the road. Philly at Tampa. 2-0 versus 2-0 on Monday. Eagles. 6.5-point favorites. We know they're very good. Arguably the best team in the NFC. Tampa Bay has really shown life. Baker's done very good. Um, However, this best team, this really attests to see how Baker's doing this season. Now it is in Tampa Bay. Um, I'm gonna go 30-21. 30-21. Philly wins on the road. So then it turned to 2.5 for the Bengals to wrap up week 3. Joe Burrow announced that he re-aggravated his calf. Now, the reports were obviously when he suffered that injury, they wish he had stayed out to week 5. They did show improvement in week 2, but at what cost? If he re-aggravates calf, now they're not sure if he'll play week 3. Now, an extra day, so that's plus Monday night. Rams, though, have done much better. You know, well, yeah, Rams offense has done much better than I think people realize or thought of going into the season, especially without Cooper Kupp. Kyron Williams has stepped up as their starter running back as well, so very good. I mean, I don't know, but I will say that Stafford's healthy. The Rams offense has been looking good despite the turnovers late from Stafford, but they have been looking good the last 2 weeks. So I'm going with the Rams here. 27-21. Super Bowl rematch. There you go. But yeah, there you guys go. A lot digest, a lot that go over in this podcast today, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's a like button, leave a like, thumbs up, and help out the video channel. Subscribe as well if you're new. Um, yeah, guys. See you guys next time. Enjoy this weekend. Enjoy the week, nonetheless. See you guys next time. Peace.